Esports is proud to bring you a championship event like no other. The System 7. This exciting rally circuit pays homage to Earth's classic rally and Formula One traditions, pushing drivers and their teams to their absolute limit across some of the toughest terrains Stanton has to offer. Qualifying teams will push through 7 individual races located across the system, from the isolated moons of Crusader to the bustling city centers of Hurston and Microtech. Each race, pilots will control a featured vehicle, from the rugged Drake Dragonfly to the lightning-fast Tumbril Cyclone, navigate perilous terrain and conditions, as well as one another. Racers will face off on Magda, crashing through mountain passes and dusty valleys. Walla, where jutting cliffs and deep craters force pilots to thread the perfect line. And Clio, where one wrong move means plummeting into a lunar sea. Racers will pick up individual wins across the races, but only the team with the highest overall standing can claim the title of System 7's champion. Sign-ups begin soon. Get your crew together and join us for the System 7. You won't want to miss it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the System 7 race number 1 presented by Game Glass. My name is Christian Gaming, and of course, I'm here with my co-host, my man, Karansi, all the way coming from Australia. Karansi, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing fantastic, Christian. We are finally going to start with race number 1. I've been so excited for System 7, number 3, technically number 1. Rebranding words are weird, but it's finally here. We finally get to check out race number 1 after all of the awesome qualifiers, after all the awesome practice we're seeing. I'm amped up. Christian.
No, I'm very excited. I totally agree with you, man. It's been a while. Obviously, 318 has been kind of holding us back a little bit, but hey, we are back. All right, we're not taking no for an answer this weekend. We're praying to the server gods that this stuff works out, and we're diving into the PTU for the first time in Atmo Esports history. Every single time we've done an event, Croncy, we've always done it on live, but we're jumping into the PTU this time around, and we're going to go racing today. And today is going to be an incredible course, Croncy, that we'll be going over soon. But before we do any of that, Croncy, how has StarCitizen been treating you lately? How have you been enjoying 318? Have you been getting in? Tell me a little bit about your experience so far.
Well, I've definitely been one of the extremely few lucky people that haven't had many issues with 318. But you know, it's a bit of a rough start to a patch, but that's okay. We've still managed to have our races practice, and I've been able to go out there and practice some of these tracks. So it's been rough, but it's been good enough, and that's what I'll take that.
Hey, that's still good for me, man. Look. Honestly, I've been a veteran in this game for a while, in StarCitizen, so I know when to not play and when to play, so I'm very smart about it. I actually waited anywhere between 48 to 72 hours to actually jump into the game, which I knew which was going to happen because they already said it was going to be a rough start, and I was able to, play just fine, jump into the PTU, play just fine. So my experience has been great, man. I think this is by far one of the best patches that have came out, and I understand there's a lot of frustration around the servers and things like that, but look, guys, there's a lot of other games out there. Just remember, this game is still in alpha. When you pledge, there's a little disclaimer there that tells you it's in alpha, that it's still going to have bugs and things like that. So people just need to be patient, man. A lot of people just not being patient, thinking the game is already out. It's not, man. Be patient. All right, I was playing some Diablo 4 back into my God of War Ragnarok grind, so I'm here, I'm happy. But last but not least, Croncy, we're here. We're back with System 7, and race number 1 is taking place today, and I'm very excited.
Yeah, this is going to be a great day. So all of the issues that may have happened, some of you guys might have noticed we've had to delay some of the races over the course of the next couple of weeks. So if you do want to check any of the sort of currently up-to-date times for those, make sure you check on the website or on the Atmo Esports Discord. But the actual races themselves, what are they going to be encountering today? So A lot of the issues that have been plaguing us, unfortunately, on live are luckily not active there on the PTU. So we're hopefully going to be able to have a really, really solid day, a very stable day. Crossing our fingers. Anything can happen. This is still StarCitizen after all. But one of the biggest things isn't even really, it's not even issue related. The last time we had the Cyclone RCs, which was during the qualifiers, the Cyclone RCs performed a little bit different than they do currently. We've got some speed changes that have happened that are going to drastically alter how that vehicle works. And it's going to make today's race kind of exploratory. We're finally going to sort of understand what those changes mean in a race format. So of all the things that are going to happen today, other than just, hey, it's the start of the series, that's probably what I'm most excited for.
No, I totally agree with you there, Croncy, and very good points. But hey, let's start this off by taking a look at our race course for today, because race number 1, Croncy, this is going to be an exciting one for me today, because I'm telling you, the Snake Pit on Clio is going to take no mercy on these racers today, man. I'm telling you that this course here is really going to challenge them. And the number one thing that you see here is when you see the course, you see a straight line going across that top side of the map here. And that is because they have to go ahead and race across a rusty pipe that goes from the end of the track to the beginning of the track. And if they fall off of that track, Croncy, they got to start all over again from the beginning, coming back to that pipe and taking it over again. So they can't even grind on the side. Those are going to be the rules for today. They need to stay on the top as long as they can and get at least all the way and finish about 90% of the pipe before they can jump off it. So how are you feeling about this course today, Croncy?
Yeah, so our amazing sort of track designers went to Snake Pit, the first official racetrack in the game, and designed something pretty fun for our little ground races here. And let me tell you, it is a lot of fun. We had a lot of practice of this over the last 4 weeks. It's got some really cool turns, some really cool jumps, and of course that really awesome pipe. Now, the pipe itself is going to be very interesting. There's a couple of things we're going to have to watch out for it when we see our racers racing on it. Firstly, it is just a straightaway. There's nothing necessarily too complex once you are on the pipe and stable. So once you get on that, it's all just going to be about boost control. However, at the very start and the very end of the pipe will bump you. Now, the direction that it will bump you will depend on how you approach it, and that could mean that you have to reset on that pipe or you have to come all the way back. So you've got to be a little bit careful. One thing I am going to be curious about is if any of our racers attempt to overtake someone on the pipe, because it is very, very tight. But if you can overtake someone successfully, that's going to be absolutely huge. It takes about a minute and a half or so to get across that pipe, so you're going to have a lot of time to decide if you want to do it. But if you fall off, that's 3-4 minutes lost on your lap time. So it's incredibly risky.
I mean, yeah, it is going to be a risky one. And remember, Croncy, they have to go 5 laps around the Snake Pit course in order to land points on the leaderboard here. And what's going to happen is that so they have to go to that pipe 5 times, right? So each average lap time that I was doing was around anywhere between 5 to 7 minutes. I think people that are faster can probably do it in 4. So we're looking around a 20 to 25 minute race for today in this race number 1 here for System 7 presented by Game Glass. So very, very excited for this race course because I said it last time. If I see a proper valid overtake on this pipe, Croncy, I need to go get a tattoo of something. I don't know what it is. System 7, a Snake Pit. I don't know. I already owe my community a San Jude tattoo, which is happening soon. So I might as well just add to the plate and just put it all together because it's very hard. Like you said, it's very difficult. But if it happens, it's going to be the most mind-blowing racing we've seen in Star Citizen because that's going to be a highlight for a long time, seeing an overtake on this racetrack in the Snake Pit today for System 7 race number 1. So, but yeah, Croncy, it's going to be a very exciting race overall, and I'm looking forward to it. But before we jump into the rest of the race here, Croncy, let's go back just a little bit and talk about the qualifiers. If we can get the leaderboard up, we had the qualifiers happen a little bit close to about a month ago, and these are going to be your top 16 teams that are going to be racing today. So, Croncy, if you want to take that over and go over these top 16 teams because a lot of them are absolutely incredible.
Yeah, we saw some of probably the best qualifying we've seen for a System 7 so far. I mean, look at how close some of these times are. I don't think it's been this neck and neck before. Now, unfortunately, we did have a team drop out due to some timing issues with the delays and whatnot. So, luckily for Ghost Corporation, they did an absolutely great job during the qualifiers. So they've been pushed up and they've been pushed into the System 7. So those guys are going to be competing for the rest of the competition. A couple of people that I want to sort of point out there in the qualifiers, obviously Punch Buggy, Herbie, one of the best ground racers in Star Citizen by far, pulling off a 1 minute 20, absolutely crushing the entire rest of the field. The only person who even got close was Splen, who, you know, massive name in the racing world, and even Splen couldn't pull off a 120, right? So yeah, Herbie's going to be a person that we're going to be watching the entire series of races, especially when we're concerning the Cyclone RC. Another team that was came out of nowhere was Nomi's. So Gerbo, I believe their name is. They popped up. It's their first time doing anything sort of like this. They practiced the qualifiers over and over and over again and absolutely crushed it, and were able to pull off a 126. Yeah.
No, I think that's great. So I think that's great overall, and it's crazy because Patoot Squad, actually their spot was around that 134 mark, Croncy, and Ghost Corp had a 138, and they were up next right behind Triple R Racing to get the next spot as Patoot Squad dropped out of the race today. So, I mean, not today, but the entire tournament because of, like you said, Croncy, just the timing of the delays and all that good stuff. So, but hey, happy to have you, Ghost Corporation. Really appreciate you guys being here. But I'm going to go through each competitor here today because we have some incredible teams today. Punch Buggy, we have Herbie Racing today. Team Splan, we got Splan Racing, obviously. We got Team Far Out. Diplomat makes his return back to System 7 here, which is awesome. We got, like you said, Team Nomi's Gerber the Gnome is going to be racing. Amrock's Fang, who a veteran in racing as well, and they also compete in our Fighter Flight Tournament Series. Anreal coming in to race today. Infinite Empire, we see Aaron the God in there. We see Blackhawk, but Ludok Skyer Alpha, all the way from Spain, baby. We got NeoJet racing today. Frontier Consolidated Racing. We have Tint. Obviously, we got Kuroda Racing Sanji, who is going to be Sanji Sama Racing. I'm a little mad because he didn't do Kuroda Racing Initial D, but it's all good. It's all good. We have Team Leviathan coming in with R. McNasty, who did well during the qualifiers, with a 133.26, which was absolutely incredible. We got Team Viva coming to defend their throne, Croncy, here in the System 7. Team Viva Nezertil is taking the helm and racing in race number 1 today. We got Delta Dietus Racing, Team Cheekly from Delta Blue Aerospace. That's their org. Is going to be Wired In Racing today, so not even Cheekly. So Wired In is going to be racing today. We got Triple R Racing, Tack the Menace, Catcom Alpha, who came in second place last year, who earned that spot from taking that second place spot. Circle Worm is coming in, and then from Ghost Corporation, who gets that spot and gets to race for the rest of the entire league. The entire schedule is going to be Atrix running on that helm today, driving here in System 7 race number 1. Going to the Snake Pit, man. Wow, a lot of great teams. And one thing I love about this, Croncy, is that everybody's from all over the world. We got people from Netherlands, Italy, Spain, Catalonia, Canada, Sweden, Norway, UK. I mean, obviously we're missing a little bit of folks from where you're at, Croncy, but I think we have a good amount of racers here, and this is going to be your top 16 teams, which, I mean, yes, we're in an alpha, but these are your top 16 best racers that I know so far in Star Citizen, Croncy. What do you think about that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, these are the people to defeat, and they have been in a couple of events that have happened over, the last 2 years. Obviously, the two biggest names here, Nezrathil from Viva, Diplomat from Far Out, the two previous winners of the System 7s in the last 2 years, and a little bit of a rivalry there too with what happened still fresh in my memory in the last race at the end of last year. It's it is such a high class of driver that we have now gotten into these tournaments. And I honestly would not want to be any of these drivers today. The competition is just so much harder than it used to be.
It is, man. It's looking scary. There's a lot of great names in here, man. I mean, to be honest, like Team Splen, you never know. Like he's such a great racer. Brings a lot of resiliency. Whether it's in a like he races, what do you call it, Gravlev vehicles, but he's here ready to race in a Cyclone RC, not knowing what's going to happen. But I know he's been practicing. He's been tagging us. He's been streaming his practices, so he's ready to go. I'm pretty sure. We again, Team Nomi's, coming out of nowhere, getting that 126 man. So a lot of great teams this year are going to be definitely competing. But what is at stake? Let's check out our points leaderboard because Croncy, if this is race number 1 here, so this is our tournament point structure. So if you get first place today, you're gonna, as you see it broken down, this is your time to put points on the board. All right, because I'm telling you right now, we've seen people win 3 races in a row, and then all of a sudden, race 4, 5, and 6, they end up in 7th place. We're allowing other people to catch up. So even though you see a big gap in points here, it is so well put together, and we actually copied this from like F1 style, how they do their points. So this is going to go over to them, and in these 7 races, they have to stack as many points, creating them the System 7 champion. So, this is race number 1. Snake Pit Croncy, like this is their time to put these points on the board because, man, it's going to be these upcoming races are not going to be as easy as this one. Well, this one's not even easy, but yeah, you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, it definitely sort of feels like with these, with the way that the races are structured over the course of the series. Obviously, the most important races are the first few, just to get you into an area where you know where you need a position later in the series. Once you get to the to race 4 and 5, and you have excuse me, and you have this new format, it's a lot easier to catch up in race 4 and 5. It's a lot easier to get 5th to 8th place in race 4 and 5 than it might necessarily be in race 1. So you will see that we're going to have, some very obvious leaders after the first 3 races, but you'll see a lot of people in like the 6th, maybe 6th through 10th place who are just chasing, top 4, just to inch them out ever so much. And that sort of makes sense. It's not necessarily about becoming first every race. It's just about being pretty consistent with your finishes.
Yep, I totally agree. So and right now it's like I keep saying, man, it's gonna be hard. It's not gonna be easy. Let's get back to our race number 1 map here, the Snake Pit on Clio. Because a lot of I wish sooner or later we're gonna try to create some 3D mapping of this, but like the way this is made, Croncy, like I love the Snake Pit because when they first released it, it's like we thought it had a lot of like, there's not that many rocks, but there's enough rocks that if you do make a mistake, you can spin out. But I mean, they're easy enough to, to maneuver around. And remember, if you fall off that pipe, you have to find a way to get all the way back. You don't have to start from the beginning, but if you fall off in the middle of the pipe, you have to find a way to get all the way back to the pipe to get back on it so you can complete that first lap. So, and what I'm interested to see is that which teams are going to get there first, and are they going to be, bumping each other around to get onto the pipe first, or are they going to, kind of let it go and then try to pass them on that second lap or not? So very interesting to see what strategies the racers bring to this race today, because I think it's going to be a fun one to watch.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking on the rocks, there's one thing that's sort of interesting about this track, which is that there's a lot of very sort of tight sections that you can take to avoid some rocks where maybe you can fit 2 or possibly 3 cyclones side by side. But obviously when you get into 16 races, it's going to be very different. So from like a time trial perspective versus a race perspective, there's a lot of nuance to this track, I would say. So we're going to experience, especially in the first turn, going into, you'll see that there's a couple of jumps that you go into as well. Where people position near those rocks is going to be very, very important. have they practiced a couple of, safety routes around some rocks, or have they just been going, hardcore time trial? I'm just trying to get sub 4 minutes. We're really going to be able to tell which races have been doing that.
Yep, totally agree there. Well, while we are here, let's take a look at, because we did adjust our schedule here, Croncy. Let's take a look at the new adjusted schedule, because a lot of people are going to try to figure out. So what we ended up doing is actually taking and pushing pretty much everything back 2 weeks. And then on the last week, on race number 6 and 7, we put those back to back. But before we start doing into that, for those of you guys at home that haven't watched the System 7 yet, let's go ahead and get you familiar with the rest of our courses that is going to happen throughout, the season of System 7. So let's jump into race number 2, which is going to be the first one here, Croncy. And this one is absolutely incredible. This is going to be a Dragonfly race where you have to pretty much go through the new River Canyon on Microtech. It doesn't start on the River Canyon because we didn't want to have everybody in a tight space. Everybody needs to be able to create that space and then jump into the Canyon River race in the second half of the lap. But I know this one's going to be a lot of fun to watch as well. I'm not sure if you've been in that canyon, in that River Canyon just yet, Croncy, but dude, it's incredible to see people just fly through there. So I can't wait to see people to go through there in a grav lift vehicle. What are your thoughts on this one, Croncy?
Yeah, this track is a much needed improvement over the river race that we had last year. This one's a lot more fun. There's a lot less chance of random explosions from water, but still a lot of skill required to avoid the canyons itself, or the trees in the way in the straightaway. There is an issue at the moment with there being lots of trees in the water itself, so we're hoping that gets resolved. But if not, then our racers might have to come up with some interesting strategies, because that could be very, very interesting.
No, I think we already did, as a community, came together and we actually did a how do you say, we opened up a ticket for the trees. Apparently in the next 2 patches it should be fixed, either in 0.1 18.1 or 18.2 it should already be fixed. So I'm pretty sure hopefully when that drops we should be able to get back in there and jump into the River Canyon chaos. But this race number 2 is going to take place on April 15th of 2953, guys. So make sure you guys are there. So pretty much every 2 weeks we should have a System 7 race, all the way up until race number 6, and then race number 6 and 7 are going to be back-to-back weeks to crown our System 7 champion. So let's jump into our race number 3 here, Croncy, which is our a classic favorite here, Microtech Tundra Dash, and you're currently holding one of the best lap times for us, from last year's System 7. So tell us a little bit about this one, Croncy.
Yeah, this was an absolutely classic track and an absolutely favorite of the drivers themselves, for sure. So this one, you're just going from SMO 18 to Calhoun, and you're just doing a 180, but the transition of all the different biomes and the different mountains and all of the little bits of terrain that you have to avoid make it a really, really fun and interesting track. Now, once again, the Cyclone RC has had its speed decrease. It has had its boost decreased as well. So this is going to be, once again, kind of a fresh look at an old track. Whereas, we might have seen that 42-minute there. We're probably going to be looking at maybe an hour this time around. But we also probably won't be looking at as many collisions because the speed isn't necessarily so high. So, it might be a little bit tighter routes. But overall, one of the best tracks that we've ever gotten to experience. It's just a lot of fun. And when you get to Calhoun and you see, 3 or 4 cyclones going past you, or, as everyone's passing each other at the halfway mark, there's nothing like it. It's so good.
By the way, the cyclone speed went up by 3 ms, but their boost speed got chopped. You said it got decreased? Yep. I'm sorry. Okay,
yeah,
okay.
So
okay.
Yeah, so the base speed got upgraded, but the boost got downgraded by about 30 ms. Which is a huge,
my bad.
Huge drop.
Yeah, that is pretty massive. I thought you said that they both got decreased, but I just wanted to make sure because I know the last patch I saw that it increased by 3. But yeah, like you said, one of the big reasons I love race number 3 here, the Microtech Tundra Dash, is that you get to see 2 biomes in one race in Star Citizen, and it's absolutely stunningly beautiful to race and see the racers go through this is going to be absolutely incredible. So Don't miss out on race number 3, guys. April 29th, race number 3, Microtech Thunder Dash is going to be available, and it's going to be another great race. I think every time we do System 7, we have a couple Cyclone races. So this is our second one so far. And then race number 4 is going to be Cloud Chasers, where we finally are able to use the STV and take it the speed up a notch. The STV on a flat ground in that flat terrain, Karansi, especially on the residential center in Orison, definitely makes the STV go quickly. So, you've done Cloud Chasers, Karansi. Let the people know how fun it is. But, we did it last time with the Mule. But what about with the STV?
Yeah, another fantastic track. And with the Mule is a little bit interesting because you end up getting to max speed, honestly, a bit way too quickly. And you have these sort of straightaways and even these turns where you're just at full speed with the Mule, which doesn't give a lot of opportunity for, overtaking of some of the other races or much skill difference, to the point that when we were, keeping track of records and stuff for the Mule, the differences in, the best was half a second or so. Which in comparison to a lot of other races is very, very tight. Now with the STV, it's a lot more skillful. The acceleration of the STV and the handling of the STV makes it a lot more interesting. It also may make it a bit more dangerous on a couple of the edges as well, which is always a little bit of fun to see if people can avoid themselves falling off the side of the platform. So it's going to be an interesting one to check out because it is, once again, just very different to how we've done it before.
Yep, I agree here. So May 13th, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be your race number 4 here for System 7 Cloud Chasers with the STV vehicle. And it's going to be the first time we actually implement the STV in System 7. So very excited for that one. I took it around myself, Croncy, and man, there's so many little things that will make you flip or lose control. There's the little light posts that are in the walkways where people are racing that can really, really spin them out and make them lose control. And once you maintain that speed, once you're able to maintain that first place spot and you don't mess up at all, that's an easy win for people because obviously the SCV doesn't have boost. But I'm telling you right now, any little thing when you're, against other 4 people, those nerves are gonna hit, man. So you need to be careful. So very, very excited for race number 4. But race number 5 here, this was going to be our qualifying track, but it's not, unfortunately. But we are bringing back the the Gray Cat PTV vehicle. We're going to the BTR course. We have to use it. All right, I'm telling you. See how you didn't put this in here for us to look at? They put it in here for us to take it and race it to the limit as much as we can. So for race number 5, Croncy, we're going to the BTR track. It is going to be pretty much a heat race where we're going to have all our 16 competitors going 4 heats. So it's going to be, instead of having 16 people on a track, you're going to have 4. So, how do you feel with just 4 people in this track overall, Croncy?
Yeah, it gets very crowded very quickly, which is once again going to mean that, with how sort of little health that the PTV has, you're going to have to be really careful to choose your spots where you're going to overtake. There is a lot of advantage to be gained with certain drift areas and certain brake spots. Some people already who've been testing this have this down to a science, but it's going to become a very different beast once we get multiple players. One of the things as well is it's just a really cool track. It just visually looks really cool when you're racing it, especially when you go down under the tunnel and all that. It's a lot of fun. So this will be an interesting one. I'm also really glad to hear that CRG are making another one in Microtech. So, yes. It should be a good one to see. Hopefully the PTVs can last. They've been performing pretty well on the PTU recently, so...
Look, Croncy, I'm gonna be straight up. If there's any place where the Intergalactic Expo can go, all right? If there's anywhere in the verse it can go, while if there's no Intergalactic Expo, there should be a track in there. Isn't that just the truth, man? They should be a track, even though I really want a track outside of it. But maybe we'll have those in the future where we have underground bunkers. We can have some tracks under there or some illegal racing. That's going to be absolutely incredible. So I hope that the next track they make is you can use, a different type of vehicle like the SCV instead of the PTV. so that way we can have some differentiation in some of the tracks. So fingers crossed for that, to see if we can have some different races, where the intergalactic expos are being pretty much placed. But let's move on here. This is going to be race number 5, the BTR track, guys. May 27th. Make sure you guys are here for this one. This one's going to be incredible as well. Now, moving on to race number 6, the Babbage Bash. We're bringing it back, Croncy. This one is great, but this time we're not doing it with the STV. We're doing it with a Nox. And let me tell you, I raced this one myself personally a couple of times already, not only with the STV, but also with the Nox. And this one by far really, really gets super exciting with a Nox, because even though about 55% of the race is on ice, Croncy, man, going through that city in a Nox is what's going to make or break you as a racer. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, very much so. One of the things, as always, to remember when you have a track that's sort of designed like this, anytime we have these straightaways into the corners, it becomes all about boost control and when you're going to overtake. And this track in particular, once you get into the city, the amount that you are going to be launching off mountains if you don't take them at the right angle, or you take them a little bit too fast, it's going to be very tight. If you are a racer right now watching, please practice this track. You will really, really need to practice this track. It'll be a ton of fun, but you will be super punished if you do not have a lot of understanding of this track. Now, yeah, this is the Babbage Bash. We got to play around with it at CitizenCon last year, and there is a lot of difference between the STV and the Nox. First off, obviously, it's going to be a lot faster, these laps, but that's going to make it a lot more interesting. We're going to see a lot more overtakes, most likely, especially out on the ice. So, a very solid track, and a interesting vehicle that'll make for, hopefully, a couple of good explosions, maybe.
No, totally agree. And by the way, we're almost getting ready for our race here. So before we jump into that, though, we have, race number 6, guys, on June 10th. So make sure you guys don't miss it out. The Babbage Bash returns on a Nox, and it's going to be absolutely gruesome. But let's go back to our iconic track here with race number 7, the finals, the Lorville Loop, going across the entirety of Lorville, where you have to change out your vehicles, Croncy. And I've absolutely loved this race. This has been one of the greatest races so far, where you have to go from gate to gate, changing vehicles until you're done going around the entirety of Lorville here, Croncy. I know you've had a little taste of this, but how fun is this track, changing vehicles and going from gate to gate, Croncy?
This race is one of my favorites of all of the System 7, and honestly should be the one that's actually called the best of the best, because it really shows, of all the races, who can be consistently good with just any type of vehicle. It doesn't matter what. We know who might be the best of the Cyclone RC, we know who might be best of the Dragonfly, but when you've actually got to do each one of these little corners by themselves and compete against other players, it changes the whole game. Now, one thing that could be interesting, Lorville Loop may sort of change. The actual sort of structure of the race may change once we get to 3.19, if that comes out by that time, which should hopefully just make it more interesting. I don't think the locations of the gates are going to change at all, but it's going to be a very cool race. It's always a great way to end off the System 7, so always excited for that one.
All right, sounds good. Well, guys, race number 7 here, the System 7 finals, will take place on June 17, and I believe we are almost ready to go. Let's get a bigger view here for our start line, if we have it in place. So everybody's looking good. It looks like we're in a 4x4 grid here by their placements here in the qualifiers. As soon as we get a leg go, we're going to get this race started. And we have our camera team on the go, so I need to give a shout out to them real quick. We got over here, we got Papa Freedom, we got Sevens of Fash, Officer Ron Dog in the house. So we got 4 incredible cameras. And then we got Planet there being our overview camera. And I believe we're almost ready to go. Croncy, I think we're ready for a countdown.
Sounds good. If we're ready for a countdown, I'm extremely excited. I'm loving this look right now of this 16 this actual like proper starting grid. It makes it look really, really cool. But sort of what I was talking about before with the rocks, right? You can see it right in front. Look at where the rocks are, just positioned right to the sides of the 4x4s of the Cyclones. You're gonna have to be really careful. If you're at the back, you might actually be in a little bit of a better situation here because you're going to see who's going to collide into what and be able to actually avoid those areas.
Hey, all I'm going to say, Kronsia, we've said this plenty of times where you have put majority of points on the leaderboard. You need to take it slow. You need to take it easy. But I'm excited to see the race. We're getting, all right, we are ready for a countdown. So, ladies and gentlemen, in chat, whoever you're rooting for, let's get some hype here because the System 7 race number 1 presented by Game Glass is about to begin. Kronsia, I'm going to go up there. I'm going to give a countdown. And then, hey, we'll be ready to go here in a moment.
Let's go race number 1.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, on my go and only on my go. In 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go! All right, there we go, Kronsia. It has begun. Race number 1 is underway, baby. I'm excited. We're already seeing some bumps and bruises already happening. This is not a demolition derby, ladies and gentlemen. You guys need to be able to take it easy and get it underway. But, Kronsia, how are you feeling, man? Let's get some predictions going so far, because race number 1 is underway, and they need to get through 5 different laps.
Yeah, so without knowing where everyone is positioned right now, the people to look out for, once again, are Herbie. We're looking out for Gerbo. So that's Punch Buggy and Nomies. We're also looking out for the previous winners, so Nezrathil from Viva and Diplomat from Far Out. Now, we have a lot of really, really good competitors here, but everyone knows how to use the Cyclone RC. It is the vehicle that we use the most in the System 7, so it's also the one where we're going to have the shortest amount of differences between laps. And you can already see, even maybe a third of the way through the lap, everyone is still basically absolutely neck and neck with each other, right? So we will see once we get to the pipe section, and you sort of have seen already through some of these jumps, some of these routes, that's where all of the difference is going to be made. And not to mention the boost control. Because the boost has come down so much on the Cyclone, you can't catch up as quickly as you used to be able to, because now you're only moving at about 55 meters a second when you're at full boost. So proper conservation of boost is what's going to get you back into the running.
Dude, I am loving it right now. It seems like Herbie and Gerbo are currently fighting for the lead, but I'm loving to seeing these big jumps. You know, in the snake pit, they're trying to use those corners to get through. And remember one thing, Kronsia, that we didn't even really talk about that much is that they have gravity happening. Right now, it's the first team that is trying to get around and on that pipe as soon as they can. And as soon as we get somebody in that first pipe, we should be able to see what is currently happening right now and who gets on the pipe. It seems like right now you got Gerbo and you got Herbie trying to get on that pipe first. And that's going to tell us who's going to be in that first place spot. So this is very exciting, Kronsia. I'm loving the race so far. The teams are they're lining up here, trying to get on there.
Yep.
Oh, this is great.
Right,
there he goes. Herbie Gerbo right behind. Here. And this is where, I'm not going to lie, Kronsia, this is where I would boost here. To be honest, if I have a straight line, I would boost. They cannot jump out of here. If they fall off of the pipe, Kronsia, they have to start over and go back to the beginning. This is scary, but is incredible to watch.
Yeah, we have our first 2 races on the pipe. Now, once you get on the pipe, you do want to boost. But once again, right at the start of the pipe, you have to be really careful. And we saw those first 2 races do exactly that. They came up onto the pipe pretty slowly, and they weren't punished for it. If you go up too fast, the pipe will just launch you off of itself sometimes. So really good to see that. There we go. We saw it right there. We saw a couple of people actually bump off those little sections, making for a great little air show, but it's not going to do great for your times. As we're seeing some people falling off the pipe now, they're going to have to go back. They're going to lose a bunch of time in their first lap. And, this is a 5-lap race. You don't want to lose any time at all because you need to be making these pipe sections perfectly.
Yeah, you need to be able to practice these. And look, we're almost getting towards the end here. Papa Freedom giving us a great view here. And there he goes. It was Papa Freedom, but I guess not. Hey, the bird could not fit through the. You should just go around next time. But man, what incredible views here! Seeing the racers go through these pipes, and like I called it, Croncy. They take about a 50 seconds or so, 50 seconds to a minute to go across the piping. And here we go. This is going to be the first lap here. And I see some people already catching up because of the fact that they're using boost on a pipe, which I think is the smartest way, because by the time you go, you get back around to the pipe, you have your boost back up and you're ready to go. So right now you got Nomies and Punch Buggy in that first, second place, and we're going to see who's in third as well. But man, it's looking good so far, Croncy.
Yeah, very much so. Already a very, very solid start to the race, as Herbie and Gerbo are just leagues ahead of the rest of the competition. We can see Diplomat pushing up through that halfway mark as well as Anril. So, you know, there's a lot of stuff to be made here. Keep that in mind, especially, you know, Herbie and Gerbo, even though they are this far ahead, they still have to take the pipe 4 more times. So they may not lose a lot of time with these jumps. They probably have some good boost control, but the pipes can still get very risky, especially if we get into an area where, you know, maybe someone who was behind you fell off the pipe and now they're in front of you in the pipe. Now you've got a little bit of an extra obstacle. So don't discount anyone at this stage, but an absolutely amazing showing already from these 2 fantastic races.
Yeah, so far. So right now you got Nomies first place. In second place, we got Punch Buggy. And then in third place, we got Diplomat. And far out, Amorex Vangan's fourth. In fifth place, we got Blackhawks. And man, it's been really good so far. This has been all absolutely incredible. As you can see that Gerber the Gnome, it's, you know, he's ahead. But, I mean, Herbie's right behind him. Only about half a second to go. And half a second could mean any little bump on the rocks and you're losing control. And you can get that, you know, that place taken. But right now, I love seeing Nomies being up there because I'm just like, they've never done this before. But hey, they're putting in the practice, they're putting in the time, and it's paying off so far, Croncy.
Yeah, definitely. As well as even just the brownie points from me. I'm just liking that we're actually using some Cyclone RC skins out on the field. Makes you know, the races 2 years ago before we had skins feel a little bland. They're kind of showing me up here.
I know, man. I know. Hey, we did some a lot of giveaways in the Discord for some racing kits, and some of these guys are using it with the new paint skin, so it's awesome to see. And I just, man, I ain't gonna lie, man. I love seeing these guys get back on that rusty pipe here for their lap number 2, nailing that landing and just getting it through, man. So some of these racers that probably fell off, man, it was probably just some bad luck overall. But these racers are doing pretty well. They know those humps were there, even in the live servers before 318, these little humps were there, so they know how to take it. And right here is where I would just be bumping the speed all the way through and trying to catch up to whoever's in front of me, because Croncy, this is the flattest ground you have, so this is where the boost matters.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about using your boost on the pipes because, sort of like you said earlier, it regens fast enough on the pipes that you can boost a couple of times fully, as well as on a few little jumps you want to try to focus your boost. So that jump right there that we actually just saw on screen, that's another one of the ones where you can actually jump that in a really flat and straight angle, which that means you want to hit that as fast as you possibly can, save yourself a little bit of time.
No, it's looking good so far. And let's talk about the other teams. We got Team Capcom Alpha in 6th place. Team Split in 7th place right now. We got in 8th place Skyer Alpha. We got Infinite Empire, Delta Dietis. We got Frontier Consolidated Racing. We got Leviathan in 12th. Ghost Corporation 13. We got Sanji-sama in Toyota Racing in 14. We got Nezutil in 15th place right now. He is the defending champion. But again, this is only race number 1. Even though, you know, we got some of these teams are going to put some major points on the board, this is still anybody's race, in my opinion. So there's still a lot of racing to go and more laps. So all these top places, all they have to do is stay consistent, and they should be good to go. And then in 16th place, we have Triple R Racing. And Croncy, like you've said before, this is what they get. This is how they get experience in racing, man. Because, I mean, those nerves kick in, especially on the racing line when you see other people next to you ready to race. So right now, these teams are doing fantastic.
Yeah, they're absolutely crushing it at the moment. So yeah, Punch Buggy and Nomi's just completed their second lap, and they seem to be lap averaging about 4 minutes and 10 seconds, 4 minutes and 15 seconds, which I need you to understand is incredibly fast. So here we go. We have a look at Gerbo and Herbie coming through to finish their second lap. They are right next to each other as they're crossing through. Herbie gets past Gerbo. Gerbo, I think, may have knocked a couple of rocks there.
He's
Yep,
spun out a little bit. Yeah,
and now
man,
massive difference between those two races.
Yeah, man, that little spun out could really put Nomi's right behind, where even Diplomat is going to get ahead until he sees that next lap. And there you go. You got Herbie already in lap number 4. So until we see whoever's in that second place, we can figure out how much timing in between these guys will have between Herbie and second place overall, man. But that spin out could really cost you a lot of seconds there, Croncy.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we saw, right? Herbie was, as we had mentioned, was maybe half a second to a second behind Nomi's before all of that happened, and now is way, way ahead. Now, do keep in mind, Team Punch Buggy is not on lap 4. There's just been a small issue there, but still is in the lead with all of these other players that we start to see some people come through finishing their lap number 2.
Yep, and here we go. We still have, I believe, with Nomi's spunning out, that I believe Diplomat was right behind them, and most likely have passed him as well. So here we go on lap number 3. Going into lap number 4, we got some of the teams that have been having a tough time. We're getting on that pipe, Croncy. I mean, it's it's not a challenge. If if you don't have a good handle on that, on that pipe, you need to just slow it down a little bit, right? Once you slow it down a little bit, then you start implementing the boost. So you need to be able to angle yourself where you're not falling off, because I'm telling you, when you land back down and you got to repeat yourself, look right there, a big miss by Herbie on that pipe, and that's going to put him all over, giving somebody else a chance to pass him here. That is wild.
Yeah, so now this fight between Gerbo and Herbie is back to back again, right? Gerbo was able to clench out that little bit of a difference there. Also, it does seem like we have had a DNF from Team Splen. I'm not 100% sure what's happened there, but absolutely devastating to hear, unfortunately. Look, a valiant effort, Splen. Hopefully it wasn't too rough.
Yeah, we're trying to get that info right now from our official to see what happened with Team Splen and why they ended up with that DNF. I'm not sure if it could be a vehicle explosion, loss of tire. It could be a lot of different things, but it could just be damage overall. But here we go. We still got, I can't believe Herbie did miss that jump, man, and that puts Gerbo right in front of him, and that's going to be a tough one, man. He just needs to turn it back around, get back on the pipe, and hopefully finish strong. Again, these spin outs that they're having when they're hitting a rock or they're hitting anything could really, give them that lead time or give them that advantage to kind of push forward.
Yeah, definitely. And look, we've gone from the two leads being, within 1 second to maybe within 15 seconds, and then a pipe mishap has completely changed it back, right? And you're going to see that happening all the way through all of the races as we start to approach the 4th lap. Now, remember, these guys are going to be doing 5 laps today. They're going to be doing, hopefully, all of those laps with no more DNFs. It's all about the start and the end of the pipe section. The rocks, you can fix that easily. The pipe section, you're going to cost yourself 20 to 30 seconds sometimes. You've got to be real careful there.
Yeah, I mean, towards the end of it, you can also jump off of there, right? It's not like illegal to jump off towards the end, so you can make sure you angle yourself for that other lap time. But right now, so Punch Buggy did get double clicked here, so you got Nomi's in front already in lap number 4. Remember, you need to do 5 laps in order to get it done. So we're about to see 5 laps in about 15 minutes. So these guys are going a lot faster than what we were testing in 317 or in the PTU, because I was going a lot slower. So these guys are doing around 3-minute laps here, about 3 to 4 minute laps. So you can tell the difference between somebody that has been experienced in racing to somebody that hasn't been, Croncy. So loving this race so far, man. I love seeing them go across that pipe. And right there, somebody just, oh, that's where they're probably missing the wheel there.
Yeah. Yeah, as I was mentioning earlier, you know, from Gerbo and Herbie, at least, we're seeing roughly 4-minute 10-second, 4-minute 15-second runs, which for a race environment is insanely fast. From what we've been seeing from testing, as people have started to, you know, try to get their absolute best time trial runs, an absolute perfect run is probably just under a 4-minute time. So, you know, they're getting incredibly close to those times, and when you put all the pressure into that, that's pretty crazy as well. But look at all of the difference between some of these races. So there we can see Neojet and Armic Nasty within a second of each other, and they are not alone. It has been like that so far, pretty much the entire race. You have these little pockets where everyone is still very bundled up.
Yeah, a lot of the teams have, you know, been bundled up and have just been around a second displacement. And we got Herbie, you know, here from the UK, playing with mouse and keyboard. That's his preferred race way to race. And usually I race myself with a gamepad because I can control the vehicles a lot better. But man, he's doing so great. We got Gerbo, who's also doing great, who's currently in the lead. But I mean, Kronzy, how do you feel? How would you think you would do against, you know, these races of this caliber here?
I honestly, this year, like I've been talking, right? This year has been absolutely insane in terms of competition. It's really sort of, you know, up to the game for sure. So at least in testing, I've been able to pull off, you know, maybe a 4:14, not in a race environment, right? So I honestly don't even think I'd be on the board at this stage. These guys are absolutely crushing it. I also personally love to absolutely risk it on the pipe, which doesn't tend to end well for me, Christian.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it did change a little bit because before I was racing it, the pipe wasn't like you didn't have to jump on the pipe. You could just like take a little hump and then just get on the pipe. So I feel like it, you know, the terrain did change a little bit. But man, it's so fun to see him just kind of launch off a hill to get on the pipe. And here he goes. No, hey, don't overtake. Don't overtake. Oh, man, if he did that, dude, if he did that, I was going to lose my mind. If he did that, if he jumped over someone, no way.
Oh,
what,
no.
Wait, what happened? No. That's what he gets for trying to overtake. He's down.
Was absolutely punished.
Dude, he almost had it, dude. He almost had that overtake, and the pipe said, no, it is not time for Crucian Gaming to get a tattoo. You're going back to the beginning. And that's what you get. Dude, that was insane, dude. That moment had my heart was beating. My jaw was dropping. That was a cool moment right there, Kronzy.
That was very cool. There was like a 15-second period there where this was just by far the best race ever that I've ever seen in any game, honestly. It's crazy. But yeah, that's huge, right? We've been talking about that. If you do try to do an overtake when you are on the pipe, it can really punish you. And that's exactly what happened there. So unfortunately, I'm not 100% sure who that was, who we were watching at the time, but yeah, not going to end well for them at the moment. Luckily, we are still seeing Gerbo and Herbie at the front. They are now in lap number 5. They are going around for their last time. So, I mean, look, they're right next to each other. It's their last opportunity to overtake. We might see some more craziness on the pipes. I'd like to. That'd be very cool. Yeah, let's see who can pull this off.
I mean, I was nervous right there, Kronzy. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I feel like they had a perfect moment. I'm not sure what happened. If they got bumped off or got thrown off, or maybe a little bit of desync just bumped them off the edge. But I feel like I don't know. I feel like if this was live, that could have been a perfect time to overtake. It would have been a pretty significant overtake. But man, I saw my life flash before my I saw my eyes flash before my eyes, Kronzy, because I thought I would have had to go get a tattoo that moment that I saw him almost passing that racer. I was breathing so hard. That was so intense, man. I definitely, I'm going to go back and watch this about 14 times because that was an absolutely epic moment. But right now, Nomi's punch buggy, and you got Blackhawks, in third place, Kronzy, and we haven't talked about them much, but Ludox, man, coming in hot And you know, they did really, really well during the qualifiers, but very, very impressive to see them you know, in that top 3 here. And then you got Amarok's Fang, Skyer Alpha moving on up, Capcom Alpha moving on up. Everybody in their last lap so far. So we're about to see some teams finish here in race number 1 of the System 7 presented by Game Glass. Man, this Snake Pit race has been absolutely incredible, Croncy. I'm just happy right now. I'm just happy to see these guys racing.
Yeah, this track is turning out to be a really, really fun track, as well as really big nail biter at the moment. It's very close in a couple of different positions. And remember, everything 8th place and better, each position is giving you extra points, right? So the fact that it is that neck and neck, it could mean the difference between you winning at the end. Yeah, it really, really could. So it does sound like that awesome sort of collision overtake that we did see was with Diplomat. Also, Herbie being very, very risky there. But that's also, you can see now, yeah, so it looks like Herbie fell off the pipe just at the beginning. So now Gerbo way out in front, which means it's very likely we're going to see Team Nomi's take this one for race number 1 as long as there's no more issues.
Yep, I don't think there's going to be any issues there. So I do believe that if he stays on track on this pipe, he is going to take that first place spot. Team Nomis are going to be the first to put points on the board here for System 7. Very excited for them because I know Team Nomis, man, I know they've been also practicing as well. But Herbie, man, I think Herbie, this was a great competition. I think the factor that made this this entire race so tricky has been this pipe. And to see Diplomat trying to attempt an overtake on a pipe, dude, that is absolutely wild for me, man. I'm absolutely loving it. So, I mean, you see Team Nomis, hopefully Herbie didn't get passed on and he could take that second place spot. But it's looking like, yeah, Team Nomis, man, is going to be the first ones to put some points on the board. But, man, an incredible race so far. We still got a lot of teams competing. There's still enough points to give away. Or to give out. So hey, keep concentrating, keep racing here. But so far, 20-minute race, Croncy. How you feeling about that? I think it's a good length of a race. I'm not gonna lie to you.
It is, but with how fun this race has been, I want to see like 20 more laps, honestly, as we are now watching Nomis with a finish of 21 minutes and 3 seconds, followed by Punch Buggy Herbie not too soon afterwards, I am sure. What a race. That was an absolute nail biter for all of that between our top 2 competitors. But I'm curious. I want to see what's happening with all these other players. I mean, kudos to Diplomat, you know, having that fall in lap number 4, still currently in 8th position, right? Just an absolute showing of what he can do even under the worst circumstances.
Yeah, I mean, right now you saw that Team Nomis was about 2.6 seconds ahead of Team Punch Buggy. And here we go. We got Team Blackhawks, who is coming in to finish off in that 3rd place spot. I mean, I feel like once you get to that pipe, you should be 100% good to go. And, you know, that should be that 3rd place spot. So let's see who's going to take that 3rd, 4th. There we go. Team Blackhawks, who's going to take that 3rd place spot. Incredible, man. Absolutely incredible. Wow. Races today have been absolutely nuts. I am absolutely loving it.
Yeah, this has been a fantastic way to start off the System 7, but it's not quite over yet. We still have a lot of people in contention for the top 8, and you can see a lot of these people still on the pipe right now. They're going into this last little section. That is not the end. It's very important how you use your boost here and where you angle yourself as you come into the last turn. So we may see a couple of quick overtakes here. I mean, we can see 2 players right next to each other at the moment, and one of them just with a slightly better angle off the jump, as long as they get the turn. Oh, no!
What is going on? What? Oh, my gosh. Capcom coming in with that 5th place spot. Team Leviathan, dude, like, wow, man, that's insane. Wow.
That was absolutely crazy.
Wow.
Right to the very end there. You might have noticed they actually jumped off the other car, but then got stuck in the terrain afterwards because of the angle. That was brutal.
that is absolutely nuts right there, man. Wow. But anyways, all our racers are coming in. We got Team Far Out in 7th place, Skyer Alpha in 8th place. Man, it's so weird because I saw Skyer Alpha all the way up in 4th place. It does drop all the way down to 8th. That is a tough place to be in. I'm not gonna lie to you. That is tough. That is tough.
It is, but look, at least 8th place gives you a couple of extra points, right? It's obviously not ideal. You want to win the thing, but it means you've got a little bit of a better start than, you know, the entire other half of the field. So still a very, very solid effort to everyone participating. And I mean, everyone's within a couple of minutes of each other, right? Everyone's within a lap of each other, which is pretty unusual for a lot of the races. Sometimes in the previous System 7s, we would see people, you know, a couple of laps behind or you know, 10 minutes, 15 minutes behind or whatnot. But everyone's been really, really performing well today.
Yep. We got Infinite Empire also rolling in 13th place. We still got Gorse Corporation and Triple R Racing. All I'm going to say, man, is, hey, welcome to the big leagues because, you know, a lot of these are incredible racers, man. You know, just getting in some great points overall. It's been an incredible race, man, to see all these guys. But Blackhawks, I'm very impressed to see them up there for their first System 7 Croncy. And then you got Amarok's fan, Capcom Alpha, you know, putting some points on the board. Remember, there's only race 1. There's still 6 other races to put points on the board. And what I love about the System 7 is that you're not using the same vehicle time. You're using different vehicles. So, you know, if you're an expert with our Cyclone RC, you better have an expert with the Dragonfly because, hey, if you got one person racing all of them, that's going to be super tough to kind of stay on top.
Yeah, very much so. As well as, you know, this first race is awesome, but it is also a short circuit, basically, right? It's just 4-minute laps, and we're going to start to get into the endurance races with race 2 and race 3, right? So the whole sort of dynamic completely changes. You know, you don't have to worry about one obstacle 5 times. You have to worry about 100 different obstacles. So there's a lot of skills that may not translate to a short circuit that we're probably going to see some of these races pull off when we get into those endurance races. And then we have our last racer crossing with a 25 minutes and 55 seconds for Triple R Racing.
Wow, man, it's been an incredible day. Hey, chat, I hope you guys are entertained at home. But we got our top 3, man. Team Nomies, that was a battle because Team Nomies, man, like they spun out and then Herbie came in and then passed them, and then it was a very good lead change over the time period right there, Croncy. But I mean, seeing Diplomat trying to overtake people was also incredible on that pipe. I need to go rewatch that again and again because that was a very cool moment. I honestly, Croncy, I feel like if there wasn't any desync or anything like that within this alpha, I think we would have seen that overtake on that pipe. I'm not gonna lie to you. I would have been right now at the tattoo parlor trying to put a happy face on me or something, or a Cyclone RC, because man, that was a scary moment, not only for me, but it was scary and awesome at the same time. It was wild. It was wild, Croncy. Actually, I think we have a replay, so let's take a look at it one more time here. Let's take a look at that the replays. Dude, that was Croncy, man. That was awesome dates. Awesome racing. I don't even know, man. I'm just smiling. Yes. This like has me bumped up. It's like I got fuel in my body just from watching these races. It was really cool. I hope you guys at home enjoyed, guys. Get some hype for all the racers today. We're gonna have the final leaderboard up for you in a moment. Oh.
Yeah, I think, honestly, Crucian, I think Diplomat might just have it out for you. I think he was just going for star points to guarantee you get the tattoo. Just didn't work out for him. He forgot that you have a button to make him fall off the pipe. So here is exactly what we were talking about. So here is Diplomat. Diplomat is in the blue car, I believe. So you're going to see, you know, there's this little jump, almost overtakes, not quite. Maybe if he took it a little bit faster, he could have gotten over. And then he goes for the approach, goes in for the left side. But you're going to see him smack into the car right there. Luckily, that favors the other player, and rip, there goes Diplomat off the pipe.
I think regardless, he would have fallen off on the right side because his car looked like it was leaning to the right side a little bit more. But man, what a chance for an overtake there. A lot of great replays. I think this is where Gobor wipes out, or this is the pass here. Boom. dude, that
Yeah,
blue skin is absolutely incredible, man. I'm loving it.
Yeah, throughout the entire race, so many different passes between Gerbo and Herbie. It really was their race to win, and the fact that they were ahead of each other so many times, it just made the race a lot more fun, right? So, yeah, huge battles happening there, as was happening a couple of players further back. We saw a lot of fights happening between Team Viva. As well, we had a lot of sections where people were only a second behind each other, and lots of passing. Yeah, wow, that was a crazy first race.
That was awesome, man. I can't even wait for race number 2. We're going to the River Canyon Chaos. Oh man, this race was absolutely insane, guys. If you guys like the race at home, man, show us some love. I appreciate all you guys that are watching today. I don't even have Twitch chat open, but I hope everybody was absolutely hyped about this race, because man, there was some great moments in here, man. And guys, don't forget, we're uploading regularly to our YouTube as well, so you guys can go check out the full VOD after this, and then you can also go check out a highlight reel that Esper, who has jumped on to help us make some awesome highlight reels, on YouTube. So you guys could be able to go check that out at Mo Esports on YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram, so you guys can stay updated with all of our races. But man, race number 2 is going to be a brutal one. Look at that. What just saw an explosion there, but man, what a race today, Kronski. It's been great. It's been absolutely great. I'm loving it. Oh man, the competition this year, I think, is going to be by far the best. By far the best.
It feels that way. I think this is the best start well, it's the best start I've gotten to watch, but to be fair, it's the only one I've gotten to watch because, I was losing in the other two. It's great. It's great. The sheer competitiveness of the players that we had today. I mean, we saw Splen today, one of a really top competitor, lose a wheel, right? And imagine if Splen was still in that race, the other things that we may have seen, that we will hopefully see in the races going forward, right? So this is going to be a really cool series.
Yep, hold on. I think I need to fix a couple places left here. It seems like we had Delta Dietus coming in 11th, and then in 12th place, we got Team Viva. So a little bit of a mix-up there. But, guys, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to give you guys the final leaderboard for System 7 race number 1. Once we get the officials and they're ready to go, we'll give you guys the results. So, guys, don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. When we get back, we're going to have the final results for you here live during the System 7 presented by Game Glass. We'll be right back.
Mayday, this is Red Wind, FR 9183, requesting immediate support. I'm under fire from an unknown number of hostiles. Sending my location now.
HQ, strike team. Contract assigned.
HQ, strike team, roger. Proceeding to target. Red Wind, Foxtrot, Romeo, 90183, Walker strike team on site for assistance. HQ, strike team, contract fulfilled, ready for tasking.
3, 2, 1, go!
Your eyes are the gateway to your brain. It's time to start getting serious about protecting them. Reinforcements have arrived. Introducing Gamer Advantage, a gaming wellness company rooted in science. Patented, clinically proven, and trusted by thousands of people. Our glasses are designed to fit comfortably under a headset, look amazing, and offer protection indoors and out. Our lens will help you sleep better, which means feel better and perform better. There's no color distortion, and they are available in prescription. Internal protection starts with eye candy, an eye health, immune boost, and antioxidant formula. Fog Away, the #1 selling anti-fog spray for eyewear. Gamer Advantage. Gaming wellness reimagined.
Head tracking adds so much to immersion in supported first-person games. When you try it, you're going to see why it makes so much sense. It's been created to seamlessly let you look where you want to, and with Tobii Eye Tracker 5, everything just works. Tobii has been the go-to name for head and eye tracking, and over time, their product has evolved. Their newest implementation has the most simplified setup because they did all the work for you. Offering both head and eye tracking, Tobii is able to track precisely through glasses or contacts, and once calibrated, it will never lose its center. The head tracking solution that integrates at the bottom of a flat or curved monitor, look at what you want to target sooner, look at what you want to lock your missile to, look at where you want to bomb, look in the direction that your ship is traveling to get the edge, look around and get the advantage. Just look and let Tobii Eye Tracker 5 do the rest in StarCitizen and a host of other simulation titles. It's so natural that you forget it's there.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Sorry about that. We had to take a little quick break so we can finalize our points, but here we are. System 7, race number 1, Snakeblood Clio. Here are your final results, Karansi. We got some incredible racing today. I'm super happy, but Team Nomies, the first team to put points on the board, right now with 25. Rossi, how you feeling, man? You kind of call that out. I'm not going to lie to you, man. They're like, that's a team to look out for. So how you feeling, man?
Yeah, look, I said, very likely on this board, the people who have the most experience with the Cyclone RC is Herbie from Team Punch Buggy and brand new competitor Gerbo from Nomies. And obviously, they showed up. They really showed what they can do today, picking up that first and second spot. For the majority of the race, there was no one even close to them. We saw maybe there was people about 10 seconds behind them, right? So they had that entire first section just to themselves. We saw so much overtaking. We saw a lot of mistakes being exploited and then, exploited back further along the map. So really, really cool to see what they were able to pull off there, and an absolutely fantastic job well done to those teams. Then, of course, we had Blackhawks, we had Amarok's Fang, Catcom, picking up the 3rd through 5th positions, picking up some nice points, getting themselves into a good spot before we head into some other races. And then Leviathan, far out with Diplomat and Sai Alpha, picking up those last couple of spots for those extra points, getting themselves, a little bit more accustomed to the series and putting themselves on the board.
Hey, man, I got to say something, man. A big shout out to the entire Steam team, staff, racers. Thank you guys all for being so resilient today because, man, like I said, I always say this joking, but, man, Amo Esports gets shit done. Whether it's in the PTU or live, we made the race happen. Not many hiccups going on, but, I hope that the racers really enjoyed the race today, but it was an absolutely electrifying race, in my opinion, Croncy. Because, man, that was something that I could watch over and over again on the Snake Pit on Clio, man. And an absolutely incredible race across the board. Congratulations to the top 3 teams. But guess what, Croncy? We still have a lot more racing to go. We still got in 2 weeks from now on April, hold on, I totally lost it. April 15th, we come back here for race number 2, which we switch to the Dragonfly, where it may not be too familiar to Team Nomies or Team Punch Buggy going into these other races. So they need to take advantage of when they're in a Cyclone RC. But, man, an incredible race today, Croncy, man. I'm loving it. So, anyways, Team Nomies putting the first points on the board for the System 7. Croncy, any predictions for race number 2? Well, what are you thinking there?
Yeah, kind of. I think Diplomat and Nezrathil. I think biking is definitely a bit more up their wheelhouse. They may disagree with me, but too bad. I think they've got a lot more skill with the Dragonflies and whatnot. So we might see a little bit of a better performance from them in the next race. Not that they had a bad performance today. They both raced fantastically. So definitely looking out for them. And then just seeing what some of these other newcomers can do and what they can actually pull off with the first off the completely new track, and then also with a vehicle they may be unfamiliar with. It's gonna be exciting.
100%. Hey, don't forget about Team Splend, man. Even though he lost the wheel today, that doesn't mean that when it comes to race number 2 in a Gravlev vehicle that he can pop off at that point. But look, I'm gonna tell every single team right now, if you're watching, don't be upset because you're on the end. You only got 1 point. Trust me. This is still anybody's race to go. You can still put a ton of points on the board. Keep practicing and keep believing that your team can do it, because guess what? These are the top best 16 racers in Star Citizen as of right now, and you're seeing some incredible racing today. And wow, Snake Pit on Clio was absolutely mind-blowing. I cannot wait for race number 2. Before we move on here, Croncy, any last words you want to say to the community out there or to the racers?
Yeah, get ready for the best racing series that we've ever experienced in Star Citizen.
Yep.
After today's performance, I guarantee you that's exactly what we're about to see.
Hey, I can't say that any more than you can, Croncy. But ladies and gentlemen, if y'all want some more Croncy, man, make sure you guys follow him on Twitch, twitch.tv/Croncy. Make sure you guys show him some love, please. Guys, incredible. Croncy, thank you for joining me. You always know I love having you here. Once again, a big shout out to our security team, Walkers of Sigma. Big shout out to our staff, volunteers, camera team, competitors. You put on an incredible show. Thank you all so much for being with us here today, guys. For you guys at home, thank you for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.